Today we have a massive news video surrounding WWE and AEW, and if you guys want more videos like this, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Don't forget to ring that bell, this way you never miss a video, or check out ango.live. It's my website where you can get my entire video feed, and there's so much cool stuff on there. You guys should definitely check it out. I want to kick things off immediately with Sasha Banks because this is getting even more interesting. I thought this would have all been over with by now, but that doesn't actually seem to be the case because Sasha Banks has now filed a trademark for her real name, Mercedes Varnado. Now, what is really incredibly interesting here is Naomi was recently at the Atlanta Hawks game chilling with AEW star Jade Cargill, and there's been a lot of talk about Sasha Banks potentially going into AEW as Bow Wow's best friend. You know, Bow Wow makes the call to Snoop Dogg. Jade Cargill then gets into a feud with Sasha Banks, who then ultimately ends her reign to become TBS champion. And this is a very interesting rumor, but at the very most, it is just a rumor. There's been no confirmation that is the plan. This is a lot of speculation. And of course, I think when people are talking about this, it does make a lot of sense. However, why would Sasha Banks trademark Mercedes Varnado, especially in the entertainment services world? You know, obviously she's doing music now. She's got a lot of things that are in the works. Is this just going to be her name going into AEW if she did go into AEW? As you can imagine, this is definitely raising some eyebrows and getting people to wonder. I still firmly believe that Sasha Banks is WWE bound. That is my hunch. That's just the way I feel. I don't know if I can necessarily change my opinion on that. I feel like this has been drawn out for a very long time. I think WWE's plan is to bring her back in the very near future, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, her and Naomi definitely don't help the social media on the dirt sheets because of the fact that you see them out and about in the real world. And of course, obviously, a lot of people are like really starting to wonder what is happening. So they're definitely getting people talking. That's the right thing to do. Despite the talks of WWE having a money issue, or they might be far apart on money with them. Not necessarily sure what that means, but I just firmly believe Sasha Banks is still back in WWE. And hey, I could be wrong. That's a very big possibility. I'm not reporting it. I'm just stating my opinion based on the facts that we know. Very interesting news coming from WrestleVotes. Guys, WWE is making a massive change. Hearing some great news out of the PC this afternoon. Source states NXT is returning to the road for their future premium live events, starting with Vengeance Day on February 4th from Charlotte, North Carolina. WWE taking NXT on the road for premium live events is a great move. I'll give them a lot of props for that. It's long overdue. But there are some changes that NXT has to make in order for me to be completely satisfied with NXT because things are logical. There's not that many DQ finishes. They fixed a lot of things. Small things matter, right? Storyline progression is a very real thing in NXT, just like it is in the main roster. But I've said this before and I'll say it again. A lot of these characters are a little too cringy for me, man. A lot of these characters are a little too cheesy for me. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend I like it, because I honestly don't. Half of the roster is very, very serious, and half of the roster is very, very comedic. And I like when things are funny and comedic in wrestling, but I think NXT has gotten very, very cheesy with some of the characters. And I think what even makes it worse is some of these people portraying the characters don't necessarily have the best acting skills. And I get it, it's developmental, and that is completely fine, but it just comes off a little bit too immature for my liking. Maybe people will agree, maybe people will disagree. I really don't care. That is my point in all of this. NXT has some good wrestling matches. They have logical storytelling. They're going to go and travel as the third brand despite being developmental. The things that NXT used to do pre-COVID, they will be doing again. Great. But at the same time, too, if you're the WWE, you got to make some of these changes because some of these characters are just simply not working. And I think WWE will be getting further and further away from this as time goes on. I think it's within time. And I think once we go into 2023, I think that's when we will start to realize that WWE will be making these changes. Now, of course, with WWE taking NXT on the road for these premium live events, one of the things to really look out for is to see how well they sell. Are they going to be able to sell tickets? And I don't know the answer to that. My guess is that they might struggle in certain areas. Certain venues might be a struggle. But on the other hand, I think if you're a developmental brand, which they are, I think you need to give people this opportunity to perform outside of the Performance Center, because performing in the Performance Center does not dictate your success outside of the Performance Center, especially if you plan on going to Raw or SmackDown. So it's just something to keep in mind, but I think it is ultimately a great move for NXT. Another great move for WWE, Kylie Rae, former AEW star, has begun a tryout at the Performance Center with WWE. And it appears that WWE, according to PW Insider, is holding a tryout currently in the Performance Center with Kylie Rae and former MLW star Casey Navarro. Now, you have seen both of these people show up on AEW programming. Kylie Rae was one of the few individuals signed to AEW. Then she randomly left AEW. Then throughout time, we saw her appear in NJPW and Impact Wrestling. We've seen her in other places. Then she took a break from wrestling. Then she came back to wrestling. She was going through some personal stuff, and she was taking care of that, which is completely fine. Now, it's funny, if you go back about 2.5 years ago on this channel, when I would talk about Kylie Rae, I talked about how she was AEW's version of Bayley. Not only is she a really good wrestler, but she's got the character, she's got the gimmick and everything down. She could have been a very, very beloved fan. And I think there was a lot of people that loved her, okay? And fans really enjoyed her work. And then, of course, it was in the early stages of AEW. Things didn't work out. We haven't seen her anywhere in AEW since. Now, with that being said, WWE potentially bringing in Kylie Rae is a very, very interesting move, because as I was just talking about NXT, there is this belief that WWE is going to be signing way more independent talent to WWE going into 2023. So not only is Casey Navarro absolutely perfect for this, he's a great talent, but Kylie Rae would be, the WWE women's division across NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, they've already got such a solid women's roster, and WWE is not afraid to flex it. We know WWE might have plans to do the Mae Young Classic. Kylie Rae coming to WWE makes a lot of sense. Casey Navarro coming to WWE makes a lot of sense. But as I've said before with AEW signing too many wrestlers, now I got to get to that part with WWE, because I feel like WWE could be signing too many wrestlers to their roster. Now, the only difference between WWE and AEW signing too many roster members, WWE has way more TV time. That's the first thing. And WWE is looking at expanding their global presence. And because of that, that is going to require a little bit more of a deeper roster. But at the same time, too, I look at Candice LeRae as a great example. She's a great talent, but she's not necessarily over with the main roster. And that's because it takes time. So if you're going to sign people and you're going to put them in NXT, Triple H, you must make them feel relevant to the company, and you must kind of explain who they are and what they are about before they go to the main roster. That is what I would say. Nonetheless, very exciting news for WWE. Let me know what you guys think down below.